Oh. And we're live.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome to Hawk Wins Radio Picture Show. We're here every Wednesday night here at Q4 Radio here in the beautiful Ukrainian Village neighborhood of Chicago. This is the first show of the new year of 2025.
Numero uno.
Yeah, numero uno.
For those of you who don't know, that's number one.
That is number one for all you honkies out there. As always, my name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
And welcome back, you guys. We have a really great show for you. But before we get started, I just want to check in with you, Jay Smooth. How have you been, brother? How have you
I've been
feeling
good,
in
bro.
the new
It
year?
feels like we haven't seen each other in a minute, man.
I know. It's been a year.
It's been, yeah. Haven't seen you since last year, bro.
It's been a minute, as the kids say.
How you
good,
been,
man.
bro? How were your holidays?
I'm good. I was good. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed with family and friends who are more like family. And it's a good time to kind of reconsider everything that you're doing in life. Not Christmas Day, but on New Year's Day, I redid my vision board and all the things I want to accomplish this year.
Do they change yearly around for you? For me, they do.
It changes daily for me.
Daily?
You know?
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, got that done.
I think
pull it
that's called
off.
ADHD.
Partially, or it's just called getting shit done. Setting goals and seeing them, you know?
Yeah, I never get any shit done.
Well, you got to make a vision board, bro.
I think I have ADHD.
Well, I do too. But when you see it visually, it's physical then. It's not just like, oh, I want to do this. And when you see it, you recognize it every day. And every single one of your daily reactions or interactions will kind of guide you towards that in weird ways, just because visual association. I would encourage you to make yourself a vision board.
You have encouraged me.
They come true.
I'm being encouraged.
Get yourself an old cork board or whatever and just rip through a magazine.
I used to
for
for a while. I used to write on calendars when those were a thing.
Yeah?
I used to just write my like fucking daily task when I was in school and shit.
Well, you got to write it down. Otherwise, it's just a memory, you know? You got to get it physical.
Ugh.
But that's good, man. But, I had the epiphany, though, when I was making it. I was like, this is really cool. And I put a lot of Hawk Wind stuff on it. And I had this, really beautiful realization that, like, all these things that I've done in my life, it's because I keep myself surrounded by really awesome people like yourself,
dude.
Brother.
Oh, thank you, man. You too, bro. You're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying, brother, I was thinking today, I'm like, Jay Smooth is the John Belushi to my Dan Aykroyd. I mean that so thoroughly, brother, and so wholeheartedly. No, brother, it's been a wild ride here with Hawk Winds. We've had a lot of really awesome artists on the show.
We're coming up to our 1 year, bro.
Coming up to our 1 year.
And for those of you at home, keep a ear out for our show that we're putting together with all the cool bands we've interviewed. Still in the works, nothing concrete yet, but
stay tuned.
It's happening.
It's happening in the new year. We're going live. You can see us. We're not just AI robots here. I know we look like cam girls sometimes, but no, we're going to do a live show and get back in it, get in the mix with people. I missed that since COVID hit,
Dude, fucking COVID fucked everything up.
Right? I want to crowd surf, bro. Do you think we can crowd surf at that show?
Hell yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I've gotten to a lot of shows recently, a lot of crowd surfing, a lot of moshing.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Ready to get back into it.
Oh yeah. My brother was telling me about this thing. I don't know if it's an actual term for it, but he calls it dumbass karate. When people, you know what I'm talking about?
They do the crowd killing or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, just flailing with no intent.
Or like sometimes you'll just be chilling, minding your own business, being a chill guy and shit, and some fucking dude just starts wailing on you.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Don't you see I have a fucking beer in my hand?
You're just a dog with a sweatshirt and his hands in his pockets. All of a sudden, you're getting booted in the side of the head.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's fun.
Just trying to be a chill guy. But
anyways.
How do you combat that? How do you combat dumbass karate?
You just gotta go behind everybody else. You got to use other humans as shields.
But I mean, like, do you stop him? Do you like sweep the leg? Like,
just let it happen.
Just let him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's rock and roll, baby.
That person needs to get tested, maybe.
A lot in the rock and roll music scene needs to get tested.
Same with the comedy, a lot of the art scene. But that's what makes us beautiful. That's what makes us fun.
True.
But yeah, brother. But you had a good New Year. Any new plans this year that you plan on achieving?
A lot. Too many to count down on the podcast right now.
Yeah.
I'd be listing shit all day. Pretty much my entire life is supposed to change this year.
Everyone's is.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. No, write it down. And I fully encourage you, man. You write that shit down. You put it up in front of your mirror. And every day when you wake up, you look at it. And that you know, that'll guide your life in more ways than you'll ever think.
I feel you, bro.
You know, photos speak 1,000 words. You know, a lot of cool stuff.
Me and you have to take more photos together, bro.
I know, bro. I know. We got to get a photo shoot sometimes.
True.
Maybe we could be like a band and like do it on a dusty old railroad track
warehouse
or something.
And shit. You know they're tearing down the Damon silos.
I heard that.
Fucking
yeah,
crazy,
you sent me
dude.
that post. That's wild. Yeah.
And there's a lot of history there, bro. All the fucking parties,
Yeah.
all the fucking people tagging.
Talk about a Chicago staple, man.
Dude,
Down.
yeah. I remember going down there at 2 a.m. to a fucking rave. It's put together literally last minute. It was like an after party thing, and just some people were all like, "I got a couple speakers. That's a DJ. He's got a DJ set. Everybody meet at the Damon Silos."
Hell yeah.
And we were just there till like 6, 7 in the morning. It was fucking great.
I bet a sunrise at the silos would be pretty cool.
Yeah, we all missed the sunrise. We were all fucking just doing our shit in there. Everybody just got home fucking dehydrated as hell.
Right. Coming up as the sun. Going home as the sun's coming up. Right. It's the course of a beautiful night. Do you ever go to the lake when you party all night? That's one thing I miss in my 20s. I used to like party over in Wrigleyville area, like Lakeview, uptown, and then you know, as the sun's coming up, you walk out to the lake, and it's just something pretty cool and glorious.
Me and my friends, we used to all ride fixies back in the day, and we would just sit down at my buddy's apartment in the backyard with like a bonfire and shit, and we would all just be drinking, doing drugs and shit, stay up all night, and then at some point, we were like, who wants to go to the lake? And so we'd ride 30 minutes to the lake shore. It was fucking dope. Yeah. I can't do that anymore because I'd fucking be recovering for 3 days straight.
Well, you could do it sober, though. You can always do it sober. Don't ever forget that.
Oh, well, I guess that, yeah.
You don't need to drink to have fun. Right? But it sure does help. Well, what do you say? Should we start the show on up today?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a really great show for you guys today. Here in Hawk Winds, we highlight artists of all different mediums, whether it is musicians, artists, graffiti artists, filmmakers, paranormal artists, and especially Chicago comedians. We have a very great Chicago comedian here coming all the way from Wheaton, Illinois, but she's a Chicagoan now. Everybody, please welcome to the show, Hannah Belmont.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, Hannah.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We appreciate you swinging on by today. We heard you had a weird Uber trip on the way over, though.
I did. I messed up. It is technically a Lyft, but yeah, my Uber driver's name was Anus, and I don't know because it's spelled Anas, and I was like, there's no way it is Anus, but I don't know how else Anas is Anas. There's no way to say it. A noose?
Maybe.
A nuisance?
A nuisance. There we go. There we go. But yeah, he picked me up from my apartment, and he was like, are you going to work? And I was like, well, like, kind of, I guess, because I didn't know, like, I never know what to say to Uber. I'm just like, get me out of the conversation as quickly as possible. And then he was like, oh, do you work the night shift? I was like, sure. And then I was like trying to put my AirPods in. And then like at the end of the trip, he was like, by the way, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You're the most beautiful person I've ever dropped off. And I was like, okay. Like, I also like that he said dropped off and not picked up, because it's like, there is the implication that he's like murdered more beautiful people in this Lyft. Shit. I fear. So
that's crazy.
I made it out alive.
You survived the anus.
I survived the anus. There we go. I made it.
What a shitty name.
Yeah, poor guy. I mean, if my name was Anus, I feel like I'd also be creepy to women, because I feel like there's nothing else to do if your name's Anus.
Right.
Comes with the name.
Comes with the name. That's his parents' fault.
Yeah, shame on them. Mm-hmm. Well, welcome to the show. You know, we're so glad to see you, and you know, we've been following you for a little while with your comedy. You know, how long have you been doing stand-up for?
I've been doing it a little over around 3.5 years probably now.
Cool. And I know that you were doing a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff before that. Tell us a little bit how did you get into comedy?
Oh yeah, so when I was in high school freshman year, I joined speech team, which is basically like competitive speaking, and they had a category called original comedy where you had to write an 8-minute sketch and play every single character by yourself, and then you get judged by adults and they would tell you how good it was. And I did that all of high school, and I realized like, oh, I really like comedy. And then COVID happened my senior year, and then I was like, once COVID ended, I was like, like I want to do comedy again. And some people had told me about an open mic that let under 21-year-olds in. So I went there, and then I've just been doing it ever since. It's my favorite.
That's awesome. Very cool. Now, what led you getting into public speaking? Like, was there, do you have any idols, people you looked up to, or did you just kind of fall into it?
I just kind of started doing it because I did theater a lot. I was like a theater major and stuff, but I loved like acting and stuff. And a lot of my friends were just like, you should try speech team. And at the time, I didn't watch a lot of stand up. I think I found John Mulaney like freshman year of high school, right when I started speech team. So I really just like started it, and I was like, oh, I really like this. Like, this is never something I thought I would do outside of like theater and stuff. So I just kind of started doing it. I was like, this is cool. So I guess starting off, John Mulaney was definitely like a big influence for me. So much with most teenage girls, I would say. But yeah, definitely him.
Cool. He's a fellow Chicago guy too, you know. It's good to
Yes.
see that, you know, people from this area do actually make it.
My friend's mom went to Catholic school with him, apparently. He sat in front of her, and she said that he was very quiet and awkward, which I believe.
Yeah. Didn't he go to St. Ignatius?
Yes, that's where it was. My friend's mom went there with him, which is I still think is crazy, but yeah.
Very cool. Now, you were originally from Wheaton, also home to the Belushis.
I went to the same high school and middle school as them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And didn't they name the theater after the Belushis as well?
At College of DuPage they did, because that's the community college they went to.
Very cool. Now, when did were you doing comedy out there at all, and when did you make the leap to Chicago?
Yeah, so I was kind of doing stuff in the suburbs. I started out there, and then I was like, I want to go to Chicago, but I was like 19, and my parents are very protective. So they were like, you're not allowed to go to Chicago unless we come with you. So they came with me a few times. And then I went back to school sophomore year. I went to Oberlin College in Ohio. So I was doing stuff in Cleveland a lot because I was like the closest scene to there. And then 2 days after I graduated, I moved fully to Chicago.
Nice. Very cool. Now, what kind of places do you like performing in Chicago? Do you have any favorite bars and comedy clubs that you perform at?
Yeah, I really like Laugh Factory. Laugh Factory is very fun. I'm like a 10-minute walk from there too now, which is great. Lincoln Lodge is another fun one. Zany's too, super fun. I love those places. I just started hosting an open mic too, and it's at Underground Lounge.
Oh, nice.
And I had never been there before, but it's like a really cool looking bar. They've got a great stage. I think there's a lot of musicians that perform there, but we're gonna start a show there too, which I'm excited about, but I really like that venue, the way it looks. And then I like My Buddies too, because I produced a show there, and that one's fun.
Very cool. Now, so you're a little bit all over the board then. You're producing, you're making your own shows and going up and performing as well?
Yes.
Very cool. Tell us a little bit about it. When did you start getting into the production of it?
Yeah, so when I was at school in Oberlin, I realized my friend Chris Traney gave me a really good advice right before I went back to school, because I was like, I don't know like what comedy is at Oberlin, like I don't know what comedy is in Cleveland, like, and he just told me like create your own spaces, and then like that'll help build the scene as well as like get producer experience for when you move here. So I started a stand-up club at my college where I would produce shows with students, and then also I did this thing called Chicago Oberlin, where I would get comics from Chicago to travel to Oberlin, get everything paid for by the school, and then they would just perform there, and then I get to like hang out with my friends too.
Nice.
And then I also started producing a couple shows in Cleveland to kind of get more experience, and then when I moved back to Chicago, I had this idea for a show because I had also joined my college's burlesque club, and I had the idea for a show where like comics would go up, they would do a burlesque number and then do stand up in their final outfits, and that kind of became the show that I run now, which is called Stand Up Strip Down at My Buddies. And I got my roommate, who's one of my closest friends, Quinn James. They started also like co-producing it with me. And that's kind of how I got it started. That, and then I also run like a smaller show in Wheaton at a restaurant I used to work at.
Nice.
Very cool. And that's a good way to get your foot in the door too. I can relate. When I was young, getting into the comedy scene, I noticed that a lot of people weren't paying comedians. They weren't giving them the time of day to even like have a chance to go and perform. I was wondering if maybe you can talk about the importance of giving folks that voice and giving them that platform to go forth and do it.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I feel like there's a lot of comics too that like go to open mics that are kind of overlooked, like just because maybe they're not as like outgoing, or like maybe they just are newer, but they're like very funny. And I think it's really one of my favorite parts of it is being like, oh, you get this opportunity to perform. That was like one of my favorite things about running the show in Oberlin too. The Chicago Oberlin show was like, I had a lot of friends who were like, I had just kind of met them over the summer, but they were newer, but they were really funny. And so it was great to kind of create a lineup of like people where I'm like, oh, these are very experienced Chicago comedians. And then maybe this one has never done a road gig before, but I think he's really funny. That kind of thing was really cool, especially when it was their first road gig. Because I think road gigs are so fun, especially with friends where you're like, we're driving, we get to stay in a hotel, we get to party after shows, like that kind of thing. So yeah, I really love giving people that opportunity to like explore and try comedy in different areas, that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Now, you've given people a great platform. When you were first getting started, was there anyone who stood out that really helped you along the way and kind of helped you get your footing and found your voice?
Yeah, I think Chris Tranny was definitely one of them. I did my first ever hosting weekend with him when I think I was like 4 months in, and I was so scared, but he was featuring, and Bobby Collins was the headliner, and he was like a comic in like the 90s, I'm pretty sure, but he was like very funny. I was just like so nervous, I didn't know what I was doing, and he gave me great advice like starting comedy at Oberlin. He was definitely a good one. I would also say Bill Squire in Cleveland was great. He's a radio guy down there, but he runs a bunch of shows, and he was very helpful with like, because when I went to Cleveland I was like 5 or 6 months in. So it was like I had to start over again in a new scene, even though I had just started. And he was someone who gave me good advice. He was very like welcoming, like helpful with getting me on shows, like telling me what I needed to work on. So I definitely think those two people are very, very good.
Do you have any advice for any comedians who are just starting out?
I'd say what I liked about comedy, like versus theater, I think, is it's not as, you don't like, theater is so competitive. People are very like catty, like I need, not like everyone, but like there's definitely that feeling of like, I want this role over this person, like I got to get this position over this person. And I think when I came into comedy, I came in with this mindset of like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm 19, like I never done stand-up before, this is so weird. And then I came to realize like no one knows what they're doing in stand-up really when they first start, because there's no like linear path, like no one's like, you have to do this and then you go here and then you do this, and it's like you just kind of figure out your own paths. And I have a lot of friends now who like are kind of at the same, like they've been in it 3 years, they're my age, and it's fun seeing like everyone's going in different directions. Like some people are headlining, some people are opening for other people are creating their own thing. And I think the biggest piece of advice is like comedy isn't linear, and there's no pressure to make it in an X amount of time. You have all the time in the world, especially if you start young. So just not putting so much pressure on yourself.
I like that because the reason I wanted to fuse comedy and music together was because it's literally the same thing. Like as a musician, there's no one clear path to like making it into music or whatever. It's like you got to kind of pave your own path. And like you were saying before, some of your friends are like headlining for other bands. Some of them are like, opening for other bands. Some of them are headlining their own shows. Some of them are creating their own shows. And I thought that was like a pretty cool like connection with comedy and music.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to get your foot in the door somehow, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, do your own.
Never know where it's going to flow to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you really gritted your teeth in it, though. You know, like you said, it's starting over, starting young. You know, I was going to ask if you had any advice for your younger self, but I was kind of hoping maybe you can talk about, maybe was there a time when you were first starting out that you just totally crashed and bombed? You got a good bomb story?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. So my friend, I met this one guy at an open mic a while ago, and he, like, I found out he was a softball coach of another open micer there, and then he was a really nice guy, and then I met him again. We ended up being coworkers at a bike tour company, and like up until like this past summer. His name's Greg Schwen. He's a really great comic. He's like a clean comic though, and I am not a clean comic by any means. But he was grateful and like gracious enough to give me the opportunity to feature him when he headlined Zanies. And I had never featured at Zanies. And I had just started like getting comfortable doing 20, 25 minutes. And I was trying to be clean. And I went up and I got the crowd a few times, but overall it felt like not great. And I remember I cried in the car with my friend afterwards because I was like, I fucked it up. Like, this was so
no.
bad. Like, I felt so awful because I also realized I'm like, I shouldn't put myself in these, like, it's good to push yourself, but also like recognize like, I'm not a clean comic. I don't want to do 20 minutes clean. Like, that's not my thing. And also like his audience was very much like a lot of older people who were like more like clean, like they want like older people from the suburbs who were like, I want to see clean comedy, good family friendly fun.
Prudes.
Yeah. Yeah. Not really. They were, well, yeah. But
yeah.
so I kind of, that was, I think, that's definitely a moment that sticks in my head because it was like very much like I had this great opportunity and I messed it up a lot, whether it's because I took the opportunity or because I just like wasn't ready for it. But that was a good lesson, I would say, because like I always like to think of things like everything in comedy is a learning opportunity. Like if you fuck up, like you'll learn the next time. Like there are new things you can try and you always know how to improve based on that. And I think that's probably a bomb that sticks in my head because it was so like humiliating, I think is a good term. But also it was very much like, okay, you gotta lock in and figure out what's going on here.
That's a hell of a place to crash and burn and realize that too. It's a pretty historic
It's tough.
place.
It was good though, because also like I was like, they're never gonna book me again, and then I like did a showcase there like a few weeks later, and I had one of my favorite sets I've ever had. So that was like the feeling of elation after that. I was like, okay, we're back. Like we know how to fix this. Like that was a cool moment too.
Redemption, baby.
Yes, redemption.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any like pre-show rituals that you do, like something that you do to prepare yourself to get on stage?
Drink Celsius usually.
Drink Celsius.
I love a good Celsius.
Literally.
Yeah, any energy drink. Because I don't know. I feel like I do best when I'm like a little manic. Like that's kind of the vibe I like to go for. But that I'll always write out my set list before. I color code my notes. I just got a new notebook, so I don't have all my pens, but I think I have like 10 pens. It's a little freakish, but yeah, usually like energy drink and write out my notes.
You do a lot of roast battles. How'd you get into that?
So I started roast battle in Cleveland, and it was before they were in like the roast battle league, because like they have, you know about the whole roast battle league, right? Yeah, it was before Cleveland was in the league. They just asked me to do it, and I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then I did well my first time. The second roast battle I lost. They changed my partner last minute, but it was a really fun battle. I loved it, and so I kept doing it in Cleveland, and then I ended up being the battle that they submitted to roast battle to get accepted into the league.
Nice.
So that was really cool. And then I came to Chicago and did my first roast battle, and they were like, have you done this before? I was like, yeah. So now I just do them a lot. I really like them because it's like a good writing exercise. It's a good clip. And it's just like fun.
Do you ever get like mad at somebody roasting you for like a comment that they say, like they get too personal or something?
Not really. I feel like I don't get offended very easily, I say, because like when I was a kid I was like bullied a lot, so I'm like I got thick skin. But also I feel whenever I'm in a roast battle I like black out during what the other person is saying and then go into just like comeback mode. Like I'm like, what can I say to like get them back? And then I just kind of don't pay attention to like it. Also, people haven't really gotten too personal. Like you have to dig like I have one caveat with like any roast battle. I just say no sexual assault jokes, because those are the only things that I do get like a little like ugh about. And then everyone's usually pretty chill.
How do you prepare for a roast battle? Like, do you like Google the person, or like do you have time for that, or like how does that happen? Yeah,
so I will like ask them a few questions, whether that's in person or like over text. I'll just be like, here are a few basic questions. I also like watching their previous roast battles, so that way, like I watch it like gameplay footage, so that way it's like I know what this person's cadence is, I know what their vibe on stage is, I know what they're probably gonna wear on stage, and I also want to make sure I'm not repeating someone else's joke. So those, and then just like sometimes I'll go on their LinkedIn, like I don't know, whatever I can find about them.
True.
Because they're fun. And you're really funny in them. I watched a lot of your clips, the roast battles. One of the funny things that you do, like to keep it rolling, you're like, all right, fuck yeah, here we go. And you said that a couple times during, and I just giggled every time. I'm like, she loves this shit. This is so funny.
It's so fun. I feel bad because sometimes I always say hell yeah and fuck yeah a lot, like as like a nervous tick or just like a filler. And like someone commented, they were like, she needs to stop saying hell yeah. And I was like, I'm sorry, I just have anxiety. And they were like, it's okay, you did a great job. And I was like, all right, cool, I guess we're on the same page now.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Can you roast Jack?
You know, I actually did ask Hannah if she can
Yes.
write us a couple of roasts.
I
Ooh.
have a few. Okay. For you, Jack, you look like the man that would turn my father gay. Just via cryptocurrency or something. You look
Thanks.
like you're about to tell me about the stock market, which I really like. Your face also gives like Gerber baby after puberty. Like you have those like rosy cheeks.
Oh.
For
you.
Jay, you look like your gauges double as cock rings. That was the one I really liked that I wrote.
We were gonna roast each other, and I wrote that same.
Are you
similar
serious?
joke, yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. But apparently he's heard it a couple times.
Really? Oh no. Do they vibrate? No, I'm kidding.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Only on weekends.
Only when you're excited.
When I'm excited. So somebody else has a remote control to it, so they control it.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. I like living on the edge.
Hell yeah.
Got any other zappers for us?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Those were like the two that I came in here with. You look like you'd push me out of the pit at a My Chemical Romance concert.
I probably would.
I know you would, because I'm horrible in pits. I'm so
Oh
bad.
my god.
I want to be better.
Get out of here. It's my turn.
It's my turn to do the karate. What was it called? The karate thing?
Dumbass
Dumbass
karate.
karate. Hell yeah. I'm so bad in pits, but yeah, those are the ones I thought of.
Oh yeah.
I'm very flattered by yours. Thank you.
Yeah, of
that was very
course.
sweet. I do know a little bit about the stock market.
The polo is just screaming stock market. What was the
Yeah.
job interview you had before this?
Oh, it was
Accountant.
No.
Was it accountant?
No, God, no. I am horrible with numbers. It was for a beer pong referee host at Wrigleyville over at Wrigley Field.
Oh
So,
shit.
it was funny. I got off the thing and the guy's like, "Oh, you crushed it, dude. You did a really good interview." And I'm like, "This is the kind of clientele I'm gonna have. All right, college boys.
crushed
Here
it,
we
bro.
go." Yeah.
Crushed it. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I just with all the other trust fund babies out in Wrigleyville, you know.
There you go.
Yeah. but well, so I have a couple more questions about the roasts.
Okay.
You're funny. You like, do you ever like have to prepare yourself or like know certain jokes are going to come your way, or do any of them offend you? Do any of them you find really funny that when people attack your personality?
I think it's hilarious. I'm never like, I don't know, because I have a lot of friends that will like come in with written comebacks. I don't usually, because I just like doing like the improv one, like improvised comebacks, because I just feel like it makes it more authentic. I usually am like in my brain, I'll probably be like, okay, I know they're gonna come for me for like being like Jewish. I know they're gonna come for me for like being a theater major, like that kind. Like I know usually like this is what they're gonna say about me, because like I've done it so many times that I'm like, yeah, I know I'm white and Jewish and like a girly girl, like whatever. But yeah, usually I love when I'm surprised by a joke. Like those are my favorite jokes to be like I did a battle with Rebecca Jaffe. And she's so good at roasting, and like we're pretty good friends, so I was like, I know she won the battle. I was like, I know she's gonna go crazy, and it was the most fun battle because I didn't expect anything that she said to be said. It was awesome.
Yeah. That's somebody who dives deep into into your persona, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. I wanted to roast you back, but I don't think it's appropriate.
No, I think you should.
Should I?
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was watching a couple of your roasts, and they were making fun of your makeup, and I wanted to say, should I say it?
Say it.
I'll say it. The most Jewish thing about you is that you wear. Let me rephrase that.
No, you got it. You got it.
Just let it all out, Jack.
The most Jewish thing about you is that you wear more makeup than all 4 members of Kiss.
Oh.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Is
you like
Kiss
that?
Jewish?
Kiss is super Jewish. Yeah.
Really?
Very Jewish. Yeah.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Very proud Jewish people. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They had like this interview where they're all like, yeah, as soon as we get off the stage, everything comes off, and we wear business suits and shit.
They do.
I believe that. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
they
what
have-
the Blue
yeah.
Man Group does too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I delivered pizzas to the Blue Man Group one time.
Did you hear
Yeah.
they shut down?
Did
They
they?
They
did.
shut down.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, the Blue Man Group ended officially.
That sucks.
You're never gonna deliver pizza to them again.
I know.
This is
This
really
was like
sad.
years ago. I was like 18 or something. I was doing like bike carrier stuff, and somebody ordered a thing to like the like where they were performing at, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it here, and they're like, no, you have to go in there, like the little green room or whatever. They were like, some of them were like preparing and shit and putting on like their fucking blue fucking makeup or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
you want to call it. I'm like, oh sweet, I just left them the pizza. They left me a nice tip.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
They've got that Blue Man Group money. They better tip well.
Hell yeah. Shit.
Right.
Shit, you'd be surprised.
You're probably going to start seeing Blue Man Group on the side of the street now, banging buckets
The
for
buckets.
money.
Yeah, well, apparently they were like outside of the Annoyance saying like goodbye to everyone because like the Annoyance is right by where the Briar Street Theater is, I think is what it's called. So I was like, I missed them. I missed the Blue Man Group at the Annoyance.
Something about tips though. The poorest people I've delivered to are like in the worst neighborhoods. They tip the most.
Yeah.
The rich neighborhoods I've gotten to deliver to, they're like, here's $1. I'm like, you fucking asshole. Your fucking mansion.
I used to drive for DoorDash when I was in school, and yeah, it was definitely that. It was very weird. People in Cleveland Heights were always really good, though. I think that's like a relatively rich-ish neighborhood, but them and like Westlake. Westlake is where, fun fact, Jake and Logan Paul are from.
Oh.
For context,
Who's that?
You're gonna be fighting him next. No.
You're showing your age, bro.
No, but they're from Westlake, Ohio, which is like right by where my college was, and it's like the Naperville of Ohio, if that makes sense, which I think is absolutely disgusting, and I hate that they're from there, so close to my school. Yeah, Naperville's weird. I hate when Naperville kids come to the city because you can always tell, like for Lollapalooza.
Like, I'm from Chicago. What part? Naperville? Fuck you.
No, literally, I hate it.
They wear shirts like this.
They do. They all dress exactly like that.
With their fucking shorts and shit.
Yeah, with the boat shorts. They're all wearing Vineyard Vines. That's literally it.
And capris.
We're going to Chicago for the weekend, staying in our nice hotel room.
No show socks with like the slipper shoes.
Dude, it's the fucking worst. I used to sell kids weed that came from the suburbs.
I hope it was oregano.
Oh no, I used to like double the price.
Yeah.
Be like, it's $100 for an eighth. Oh, that seems fair. Here you go, bro. Thanks, dude.
They can afford it.
No.
Afford it.
They can afford it, and they also don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, true. I remember one kid told me to like roll up a joint for him. He was all like, "I bought the weed off you, but can you please roll up for us? None of us know how to do it." I'm like, dude,
they couldn't have bought like a cone.
You shouldn't be smoking then.
Yeah, they could have bought cones. Cones are so easy.
Yeah.
I saw this device in Virginia while I was visiting my family, and it was a grinder attached to a little like cylinder thing filled with 5 cones, and then you just grind it and it fills it up.
Those.
I want to get one because I can't roll because of my nails. I'm horrible at it, but I might have to get that.
I would think that your nails help you roll because when I roll, my nails are sometimes long, and it helps me like push the little button with paper inside. I don't know.
Mine are like
That's
too
just,
long, I think.
I guess.
I wish I could do it, but I simply can't.
Those are like cocaine nails.
Cocaine nails. You could do coke with them.
Yeah.
You know, I've never thought about that. Weed does get stuck in them sometimes, and that is unfortunate. That is a very upsetting fact.
So you're a big weed head, I'm assuming?
I do like weed. My roommate's a bud tender, and yeah, we have a bar cart and a bud cart in my apartment. It's very fun. Yeah, my boyfriend got me a mushroom bong for Christmas, so yeah, I like a little smoky smoke occasionally.
Do you think it helps with your creative process?
I think it does. I think because I have like very bad anxiety, have since I was a child. And I remember the first time I smoked weed, I like called my dad and I was like, "Is this what it feels like to be normal?" And he was like, "Yes." So I think it's good because it like, I don't know, when you're anxious, it feels like everyone's yelling at you. And then when you smoke weed, it makes it feel like there's like one thing yelling at you and it's your own brain. That was such a stoner explanation.
Yeah, no, but I get it though. Like,
yeah, you get it though. Like,
it stuck. I landed.
Yeah, when I don't smoke weed, everybody like pisses me off. Like if you ask me something, I'm just like, dude, shut up, it's over there. But then like I'll take like a hit of a joint and I'll be like, ask me more questions. I want to answer you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There was that Instagram reel or audio or whatever, and it shows people either smoking weed or like doing what they love to do. And it's like, this is what I hear when I'm not doing this. And it's yeah. And then you start doing it and it just mellows out.
Do you guys remember like those old like anti-weed commercials where it'd be like them smoking it and just fucking laying flat on the fucking couch?
And then they melt into the
and
couch.
Then they melt,
yes,
yeah.
those are so good.
I want some of that in the
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I'm like, what are they smoking right now?
Or like when
awesome.
their dog's talking to them, they're like, you're not the same when you smoke weed. I'm like, dude, I want to talk to my dog.
Yeah.
I want to talk to my dog. Give me some of that shit.
He's got shit to say. I want to hear it, you know?
Or like when your teachers would tell you like, don't take drugs from strangers. I'm like, where are all these strangers that are supposed to give me drugs?
Yeah, I don't see them. I've seen them once, and it was at a My Chemical Romance concert. That's it. That's all it was.
Where you got pushed off the mosh pit.
Yes, I did. I had to evacuate the mosh pit at that concert because it was when they were at Riot Fest, when they were headlining. And did you hear about how bad that pit was?
Yeah.
It was, so my friends and I camped there for 8 hours.
Jesus.
And because My Chemical Romance was literally the only band I was there to see. And then, like, I think 100 Gex was there also. That was the other one. But we were there, and then the instant it started, everyone was like elbowing each other, and it was like you couldn't move. And then people started vomiting on each other.
Well, it was like one of their first concerts in like freaking forever, dude. I was so pissed off that I missed it.
Did you get tickets for, because they're touring, they're coming to Chicago?
Dude, they're like $1,000
I
a fucking. I wish. Dude.
I was waiting in line at work, and then I couldn't get it. I was like, oh fuck, whatever.
Yeah, I wish.
That's at Soldier Field though. That's gonna be a hell of a show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm hoping like I'll refresh it, and then there'll be like a new ticket that's there, which I don't think will happen.
And then System of a Down is coming, doing a little fucking arena tour too.
Oh shit!
That's fucking great. Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm guessing they're broke and need money.
Don't we all? So what kind of music do you listen to, Hannah?
Oh my gosh, I have like, I don't know, I really am one of those people that's like, I listen to everything, but I like Remy Wolf is probably my favorite artist. Love Remy Wolf. I like Wolfpack a lot too. They're like fun, like funky jazzy band. I love My Chemical Romance. I do like early Panic at the Disco, sadly.
They're good shit.
Yeah, the good shit. I love early Panic at the Disco, and I'm so sad, and I hate Brendan Urie. But yeah, I think I rotate between those a lot. I like the Beaches. That they're like a newer band I found. I'm trying to think what else is on my playlist right now. I love like Alice Phoebe Lou, Laith Ross too, like very like soft, like girly music as well. But yeah, it's just really all over the place. It's whatever the vibe is, honestly.
True.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's get back to the comedy. When you're writing, do you have any sort of source of inspiration? What do you like to kind of pull from when you're writing your material?
I write a lot about just like things that happen in my everyday life. I'm very much a passive writer, like, because there's like active writing versus passive writing. Active writing is like you sit down, you write 10 jokes, you're done. And then passive writing is like something happens or something like triggers a thought and you're like, oh, I have a joke about this. I'm going to write it down. So I'm very much like, if something happens to me, I'll write about it. I write a lot about like work and stuff. Like I love writing about, because I work at the Chicago Diner right now, which is like a vegan diner.
I love Chicago Diner.
It's great.
I live to the one next to Logan, and the one in Logan Square. I go to that one all the time.
Okay, I'm the one on Halstead, but I like writing about there. It's fun. Are you vegan?
I'm not, but I enjoy vegan food. My ex-girlfriend was vegan, and so she introduced me to a lot of like vegan food and shit.
It's good. People knock on it, but like if you do it right, it's pretty solid.
There's some things that like when I go to the store and I see like the ingredients, it's all just chemicals and shit, and I'm like, this probably not good for you, but it's like not like meat, so they promote it as vegan. But then there's some other stuff that you make, it's pretty good, like fucking you do stuff with like tofu and looks like steak and shit like that.
Right. The seitan wings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chicago Diner.
I'm so sad because seitan. I'm allergic to gluten, and seitan is all gluten. So like I asked my manager once, I was like, "Can I eat this?" And she was like, "It has more gluten than a loaf of bread." And I said, "Okay, I will not be eating this." But everyone always raves about the wings.
They're really, really good.
Yeah.
The milkshakes are fire too.
The milkshakes are so good.
Are you vegan?
No, I am just gluten free. My little brother is allergic to eggs though. And he came in for the first time to the diner. I think he got 3 cinnamon rolls and then a cinnamon roll French toast. He was so excited. It was the best day ever.
Nice. Yeah, place is really good. So what else do you like writing about? Do you have a favorite bit of yours?
Ooh. I really like a bit that I have about my old bike tour job. It's basically like, I'm just like, I'm stupid. I don't know a lot about Chicago. And then I do this thing where I'm like, all right, this is a statue of Abraham Lincoln. He was the 16th president of the United States. And then in 2004, his tour bus drove over the Chicago River and unloaded 800 pounds of poop onto a boat filled with tourists. And that's how he freed the slaves. And I obviously that's not how I do it on stage. But I really like that joke because it's like, I'm like giggling while I'm doing the pauses because I'm like, hee hee hee, I'm about to say a poop joke. It's very fun. I like that one for sure. And then I have this one closing bit that I do sometimes that's about the time I took someone's virginity at my school. And I think it's really funny. It has like, I feel like the jokes I like the most have like niche little references. Like not that the Dave Matthews Band poop incident is niche, but some people don't know it. But I love those kinds of jokes.
That's fun. Can you tell us a little bit more about being a tour guide? I was a tour guide myself at Big Bus Chicago.
Okay.
On the double deckers. Tell us, what's your favorite part of Chicago? What do you like showing off in the city?
I don't like a lot of the things I had to show people on the tours just because I was like, I don't know. I'm not a big history girl. Like, I think I know like very few history facts. But I did like talking about like some of the buildings in Chicago. Like I like talking about the St. Regis Hotel because it's just like a very interesting building because of the structure of it. I like doing that. I love just like, I think my favorite parts of the tours were the biking aspect because I don't have to talk to anyone and then I'm just biking and I love that. And then I like when I have a fun tour that's just very like chatty, like they want to like actually get to know me, like they're very sweet. Like those were my favorite tours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really fun gig. I suggested to any performer, if you're looking for a good summer job, check out the bike tours, trolley tours, bus tours. There's a lot of walking tours as well. It's a really great way to just exercise your muscles of being a performer, especially improvising with people, kind of messing with them.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of material can come from just interacting with people.
Oh, definitely. It's also fun too because you can promote shows because all of them are tourists. Like I don't tell most of my groups about my shows unless they're cool. Like there was one group that I had that was 4 of them were from Canada and 2 of them had a podcast that they brought up. And I was like, oh, okay, these guys like comedy probably because they have a podcast. And then they were just like, I got to know them. They were very sweet. And then after the tour, they all stuck around and they were like, so like, what's a good thing to see in the city tonight? And I was like, well, what are you looking for? And they said comedy. And I was like, well, I have a Laugh Factory show I could get you tickets to. And then they came and sat in the second row to see me at Laugh Factory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's also a good aspect of it is like free promotion.
Nice. Did they have like spooky tours in Chicago? Is that a thing here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every October, the ghost tours.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, just give me a bag of weed and I'll take you around.
You'll take me around.
Spots. You know me, dog.
I want to see the H.H. Holmes home.
No, you don't.
Oh, yeah.
No, you don't.
Well, the hotel
Well, I guess it's
burned
not there
down.
anymore, right?
It's a post office in Inglewood. You don't want to see
It's
that.
a
I
post
don't
office now?
That
Yeah.
sucks.
That's so sad.
The foundation is still there, though.
Oh,
But then
okay.
they built the post office on top of it. But in all honesty, 63rd and Wallace is a lot more dangerous now than it was back then.
That
True.
makes sense.
Throw that out there.
That's the ghost tour.
The ghost
You
tour
see
is you
all
have
the-
to get shot in the south side. That's the ghost
You
tour.
go through the south side and you see all the dead people just fucking floating around.
Yeah, if you really want to scare a tourist, that's a good way to do
Turn
it.
to the south side. What's a good place to get tacos? Go to like 26 and something. They get shot.
They do have good tacos.
You got to risk it to get the biscuit, right?
You know.
Yeah. What other parts of Chicago do you like? Obviously you're from Chicagoland area. What was kind of the appeal? What made you stick around the city?
I just loved the aspect of a big city because I grew up in the suburbs my whole life and I liked the suburbs, but it was just like, it's very quiet, like not a lot's happening. And then in the city, it's like everything's happening. There's so many people. It's very crowded and then like you can just like explore, like there's so many fun things to do. I live in Lakeview and I really like Lakeview because I'm right off of the like cross section of Boys Town and Wrigleyville, so it's like I get to choose which side of my bisexuality to be when I'm going out, the straight Wrigleyville or gay Boys Town. And then I also really like Bucktown area, Wicker Park area. Those places are pretty cool too, but I love Lakeview. It's so fun.
You're in a hot spot for going to comedy clubs too.
Yeah.
There's stones throw away from all of them.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. When I moved there, I was like, oh, I can walk to most places. Like, this is ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't drive in the city, do you?
No, I leave my car in the suburbs. So that way, if I'm going out of town for a show, I'll just go to the suburbs, pick it up, and then like take it wherever because I had my car broken into once, and ever since then, I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this. So I just leave it there, and it's in peaceful little Wheaton.
Peaceful Wheaton. Yeah, no, I vibe with that. I got my car jacked by the Kia boys not too long ago.
No, not the
Yep.
Kia
Them
boys.
Kia boys don't got me.
I had a friend in Cleveland where the Kia boys kept trying to recruit him, and he had to keep being like, no, I won't do this, because he had like a clip blow up about the Kia boys, and he had to keep rejecting them, and it was so funny to watch.
How were they trying to recruit him?
They were just DMing him on Instagram because he has like a decent following, and they were just like, join the Kia boys, like we want to hang out, like, and he was just like, no, I'm good. Like, they just kept DMing him. They might honestly still be DMing him. I haven't seen him in a minute, but I'll have to ask when I go back.
See, that's the fucked up part about the whole Kia Boys thing is that it was such a viral sensation that like now there are settlements going on from Kia and Hyundai, but they're also looking to sue TikTok, Instagram, social media platforms that allowed these guys to just like keep promoting it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they should, bro. You know how annoying it is to get your car fucking jacked, bro,
Dude,
or
it's
like
the
even like
worst.
parts of your car jacked, dude. That shit
the
sucks,
worst.
man.
Absolute worst. Yeah.
Fucking hate it.
Not good. Yeah. Do you have a favorite restaurant in Lakeview?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, I guess this counts as a restaurant. I love Chicago Bagel Authority. Like,
Oh,
it's
sounds
great.
good.
It's across the street from me, and they have gluten-free bagels, which is huge. But my friend works there too, which is great. I love Chicago Bagel Authority. I'm biased towards the Chicago Diner. I do really like the Chicago Diner. I'm trying to think what else in Lakeview, because my boyfriend has like this list of restaurants that he wants to try and go to. And so we've been like making our way through that, but none of them are in Lakeview really. They're all like in the Loop or something.
True.
No, what's your boyfriend like? Is he in the comedy scene as well?
Yeah, we met at an open mic, which was fun. We met at Will's Northwood Inn, the one Joe Fernandez runs.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's also into comedy. He's a little newer at it, but he's really funny. I'm excited because we started going on like trips together for comedy, which is cool. We're going to Cleveland in at the end of the month, and then that'll be fun. And then we're driving down to visit my little brother at college, and on the way down we're doing a show together. So yeah, cool. It's very fun.
Now, do you think that helps your comedy career of having somebody so close to you kind of continuing to push you into that direction?
I think so. I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, I would never date a comedian, but like I've dated several comedians. I'm dating one right now, and I think it's great to have someone to like push you and make you a better comic. And then also like you could just like bounce bits and write together. Like he was like helping me like proofread a sketch earlier today, like that kind of thing. So I think it is very helpful to like have this like healthy like push from another person. I think that's really cool.
And you have somebody who understands too.
Yes, that's the other thing, because I feel a lot of my friends who are comics who are dating non-comics are like, she hates when I go out late, or like he wants me to come home early and like isn't supportive, and I'm just like, I don't like that. Like that's so weird, and I think that's weird in any aspect from a partner, but I feel like with comedy specifically, it's like you have to be out late. Like you're not gonna get home early. That's just the fact, and like sorry, but that has to happen. So I think it is very helpful to be dating someone in comedy.
Yeah. Makes the relationship a lot funnier too.
Oh, definitely. I could never date an unfunny person. I have tried dating non-comics. I'm like, you are the most boring person I have ever talked to. I'm so sorry. Like, it's so weird.
You ever date an accountant? Just kidding.
No, thank God.
When you know, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
When you know, you know. Well, very cool. What other topics can we talk about?
You ever tried DMT before?
No.
Just kidding.
I have not.
That was a jump.
You
It's
ever
on
tried
the list. No.
Any psychedelics?
I love shrooms.
Mushrooms.
Big
yeah.
shrooms girl. I think shrooms are my favorite, because I haven't done a lot. I've smoked weed and drank and done shrooms, and that's about it. But I am a big fan of shrooms. They're very fun.
Do you take enough where you start like seeing shit, or you just take enough to like keep yourself cool?
I usually take like my vision will get wavy, but I don't like the visual aspect as much. I'm more of like an emotional, like I'm taking a journey. Like that's kind of my like what I like doing more.
Yeah.
So I don't take enough to like see God, but I like can hear him a little.
Yeah. Do you take it just like the shrooms, or do you put in like chocolate or make a tea, or how do you do it?
I've had the chocolates before. I'm a big fan of the chocolates. I do just like honestly just eat them as is.
As is.
I will say putting hot sauce on them kind of makes it taste like a spicy potato chip. Like a little Cholula or Sriracha makes it so much better.
That's cool. I used to grab a bunch and just put a little bit of honey on them and just fucking do it like that.
Honey's smart. I might have to try that.
Or just grab like a piece of bread and do like a peanut butter jelly thing and just eat it like that.
I know a lot of peanut butter jelly people. A lot of
Yeah.
people like the peanut butter jelly.
Yeah.
I don't like jelly though, so I'm like, I need to find a sandwich. Maybe I'll put it on a lox bagel.
Oh, there you go.
That'll either be really good or like disgusting.
Well,
so.
the shrooms themselves kind of taste fucking bitter as shit. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like the initial taste I'm fine with. It's when they get stuck in your teeth and then I'm just like, it's still there. No.
You know how they have like weed infused food and stuff like that? Like I want to make it so we can do like mushroom infused food, so we can like infuse like the bitterness with like, you know, something sweet and like turn it into like a cool meal and you get fucking high.
I want to do that, but apparently if you like shrooms are different from weed, where it's like if you heat up weed it still works, but if you heat up a shroom,
Yeah.
it loses the effect.
So I did a mushroom tea one time, where I put like an eighth of mushrooms in a little thing, and I boiled it and like made a tea out of it. It apparently hits you a lot because I've ingested a full eighth of shrooms before, and I was just tripping, and it was cool. I did maybe like half of the cup that I made, and I was tripping for like, I don't know, like 12 hours straight, dude. There was I'm not even joking. There was a moment where I was with my homie and we were tripping, and I was like, dude, I'm tripping too hard, and I just had to go home. I was home like I had a little doggy with me, and that little motherfucker looked like a lion, bro. Like he was about to like eat me or something. I'm all like, no, it's okay. I got food for you over here. And so I just fucking put food for him, and I just stayed in the fetal position on my bed for like a couple hours until like it started to wear off. I do not recommend the tea.
No? It probably hits you a bit quicker too.
It hits you quicker, and I feel like it like you ingest it a little bit different than like when you eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like drinks always stay in your body. Actually, I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to talk about science because I truly have no idea. No clue.
I like that you said that when you do it, it's not, oh, I'm eating it, I'm just to get fucking high. But to say that you're going on a journey and you're setting intentions. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast recently, and they were talking about like is it classified as a drug if you feel like it makes you a better person? And a lot of people feel that way about mushrooms, that it's just a plant, but it makes me a better person. I'm not wigging out. I'm not high on PCP flipping a car. I'm setting an intention, and I'm being more mindful and present. You know what I mean?
Well, you can microdose on mushrooms, and I've heard that people that microdose, their like whole like life experience just becomes a little bit better. You know what I mean? Not enough to where you're like feeling like fucking like you're tripping or whatever. Just like a little tiny bit to like so the colors seem a little bit more vivid, and you're like happy a little bit more. So people do that a lot.
Yeah, I had a friend who microdosed, and I've considered it, but I'm always like, I don't have that kind of money. So, but it does sound like a fun time. I feel like a lot of people have the same thing with ketamine too, where it's like that's like a helpful thing. I've never done ketamine
to a certain extent, because a lot of ketamine will fuck you up. Like I used to do that sometimes, and like it's the same thing, just be tripping out, not knowing what the fuck's going on. But like a little microdose is supposed to like be good for like therapeutic. Apparently, now they're having like a ketamine therapy sessions and stuff. I feel like as long as it's like in a controlled environment, you know what I mean, and you don't overdo it, should be fine.
It makes you a better person at the end of it.
Yeah. My little brother, he's like a neuroscientist, and he is also very interested in like shrooms and stuff. And he was telling me there's like a couple studies coming out where it's like talking about how shrooms are like beneficial for like medical, like mental things, like anxiety and stuff like that. So I think a lot of states, are working towards legalizing them, because I think Colorado is getting close, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think either Washington or Oregon, they legalized shrooms for either medical or I don't know. They like legalized it somehow. I'm not exactly sure what the law is, but you're able to like buy shrooms and shit, kind of like when weed first started being a thing, kind of like that.
Decriminalized?
Something like that. Yeah. There you go.
Not legal, but
yeah. So I guess you won't get in trouble if they catch you with it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In moderation.
Yeah.
Moderation.
Have you guys heard of like those people that do like the crazy ayahuasca trips with like the shamans and stuff?
I could not do that. I want to, but apparently it makes you like, I had a friend who did it in Cleveland. Apparently it makes you like vomit and shit yourself. And I can do shitting. I can't do vomiting. I have such a phobia of vomit, and I'm like, I would love to do ayahuasca if that wasn't part of it, but it sounds so scary and expensive. I've heard it's very expensive to get a shaman.
Yeah, I mean,
that's if you go to the retreat and all that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, you can get it if you know what you're doing.
Can I freelance a shaman? Is there like, are they like hiring? I don't know.
Check Craigslist.
Maybe.
Could I get like certified as a shaman and then go on Indeed and be like, I'm freelancing? I think that'd be fun.
That'd be cool. You need to go to like Peru and like study a shaman for like a year or something.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
Like, if I was to ever do it, I'd want to be in like a teepee with a bunch of Native Americans, and like they're giving me like that or peyote, and I'm like seeing like, you know, visuals. And I think it would have to be a cool setting like that.
You gotta go to Peru, bro.
Go to Peru. That's true.
So they have like these things where they have like ayahuasca retreats or whatever, and you go for 3 days. And the first day you go, you're introduced to your shaman, and sometimes it's in a group as well. And so you're introduced to a shaman, and they'll give you like a tiny bit just to like give you like a taste of what the experience is going to be like. It's not that intense. And the second day you take a little bit more, and apparently that's either the second or the third day. That's when things really start to like get fucking wild in your head, and you start like you start like throwing up and like shitting on yourself and stuff like that. But apparently like it's supposed to like help heal like your traumas and stuff. Like I've never done it, so I don't know, but that's what I've heard. Makes me want to do it.
I've heard that about like deities too. They're like, when you get there, you're gonna see this like beautiful jaguar. It's gonna crawl through this forest and it's gonna be like glowing and it's gonna like lead you to this. But like all of these people like see the same astronomical plane. Is that the word for it?
Astrological, I think.
Not so much in the stars, but I don't really know. I'm trying to use big words on the internet. And
No,
it's
but
not working
I
too
get
well.
it.
But they say that they'll see these images, but it's like it's people or it's like an animal figure, and they're like your guide. They're your tour guide through the underworld, you know? I'd be interested in seeing that, you know?
I think if my therapist was my shaman, I'd do ayahuasca. I think I'd trust him.
Why
I
don't
don't
you
know if
ask
that's
him?
allowed. I don't think he would do, I don't think he'd be my shaman. I think he'd be like, that's breaking HIPAA or something. I don't know. I feel like doing drugs with your therapist. Can you do that legally? Probably not, right?
Doesn't hurt to ask.
That's true. That is true.
You never know until they say no.
That is a very good point. Or like, because I
Wait.
guess with HIPAA, they have to be like, I don't know you when you see them in public. So like, what if it was like, you pretended you didn't know each other and then you got to be really good friends pretending to not know each other and then you did shrooms together? That's not technically breaking HIPAA.
They don't prescribe anything, right? It's a psychiatrist that prescribes.
That's a
it.
psychiatrist
Oh,
or
okay.
psychiatrist, yeah.
I feel like you couldn't do drugs with your psychiatrist, but it'll probably be okay to do drugs with your therapist. I don't know.
Psychologist.
Or I think
psychiatrist.
I thought psychiatrist was the one that diagnosed or
Yeah.
prescribes. Psychologist is I don't know what
somebody that studies your brain,
I believe so.
maybe yeah.
and then
sounds right.
psychiatrist is the person that prescribes stuff, and then therapist is the person you talk to.
If anyone out there listening wants to correct us,
Please let me know.
If
I've
any
never,
therapists are out there, we need them.
I've never been to therapy.
You
I can't
haven't?
afford it.
Oh, it's fun. I like therapy.
I went to therapy when I was 6
Ooh.
for issues that I'm not gonna talk about. But
Was it because he killed that pig?
oh no, that was when I was 13.
You
Yeah.
killed a pig?
Oh, you didn't. So when I just kidding.
This is Jay the Butcher.
I'm so scared.
So when I was 13, 12, I don't remember the exact age. I went to South America with where my parents live at, and they own a pig farm in South America, and that's just their job. They just kill pigs every day, but like, you know, with like just as fucking rawest form of killing possible. You just fucking stab the pig in the heart, and they do like 2 a day. And they wake up at like 5 in the morning to do it. And so one day, like, they're just waking me up, and they're like, Johnny, come on. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we gotta go to work. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm fucking 12. And so, well, keep in mind, everybody over there works at like 13 and shit. And so they drag me out to where the pig, little pigsty is or whatever. And my uncle and my dad are grabbing the poor little pig. It's like squealing and like doing all this shit. It knows it's gonna die. Like, they're all cool. They're all chilling in the little pen. But as soon as somebody comes in there, they start panicking. They all go into like one little corner, and whatever pig they grab starts fucking squealing. It's the worst thing in the world. And so my uncle and my dad hold the pig down, and they hand me a knife. They're all like, get on top of it. The heart is right there. And they like circle like where the heart's supposed to be. And they're like, you just get it once and it dies. I'm like, okay. And like, you know, I've never done anything remotely close to that because, you know, I'm from fucking America where everything gets delivered to us and shit. And so I stab it, and I missed the heart.
Oh,
no.
no.
And so they weren't having it. They were like, you gotta do it again. I'm like, oh no. I'm like halfway crying. I'm like, because this poor little pig is like fucking squealing in pain. And I'm like, this is terrible. And so I do it again just to get it over with. And they're like, okay. And that's the story of when I killed the pig.
Dude, that's a crazy way to wake up. 5 a.m.? Dude, why'd they wake the pig up that early? They could at least let it sleep in.
Right?
You know?
That's so wild.
It was, yeah. But, you know, over there it's like normal because you got other like 12, 13-year-olds doing it by themselves. You know what I mean? Waking up at like 2 to like fucking kill their fucking dinner and shit. It's
Got
pretty
people to
crazy to
feed.
like, yeah, it's pretty crazy to like find out where your food actually comes from. You know what I mean? Like it's not that easy. It's not just ordering on fucking Grubhub.
Right. I bet a lot of people would go vegan if that's what it related to, you know, like
I mean, if they had to actually do it, probably.
Oh, definitely. I would be like fine going vegan if I had to stab a pig to eat it. Like I'd lose my mind. I feel
Yeah.
like, did you ever get forced to watch those like animal like factory like documentaries in high school. I remember we watched those in my environmental science class, and everyone was like, I'm going vegan, and then the next day everyone was like, oh fuck it, I don't care anymore. Like, it's so scary though.
Burgers taste too good.
Like those McDonald's documentaries where you have all like the little chickens going like the little treadmill.
Oh my god, that makes me so sad.
And they get turned into pink goo.
Yeah,
apparently.
it's pink. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I thought they ground up a Grimace, and that's how they got the nuggets. That's not how they.
Grimace shakes.
Oh,
Grimace
way
shakes.
off.
It's fucking. Yeah.
If I had to stab a Grimace, I would have no issue with it. If I had to stab Grimace, I'd be like, all right, whatever.
You turn into McNuggets. Fuck you.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Nugs just start pouring out of his belly.
It's not blood. It's just nuggets.
It's just the Diet Pepsi or the Coke, the Diet Coke they have at McDonald's. That's why it tastes so good.
Oh my god.
The cans of it. Oh gosh. Hannah, do you have any conspiracy theories that you like to follow, or what's your Roman Empire, as the kids like to say these days?
That is such a good question. I don't know. I'm not a huge like conspiracy theory person. I'm more so obsessed with celebrities that believe in conspiracy theories. Like, I think Whoopi Goldberg, she like thinks the moon landing was fake and is like very adamant about that. And I think that's hilarious. Like, why she does so many other things. Why is this on her mind? Like, she could be doing anything else right now, and she's thinking about how everyone's lying to her. Like, that's so weird.
Wow.
Really? I didn't know she was that outspoken about it.
Yeah, I remember I had to do a school project in high school where I had to like talk about it. I don't even remember what the project was for, but I had to make a sketch about how Whoopi Goldberg doesn't believe in the moon landing. I don't remember why I did that, but that's just public education.
Yeah.
So do you think we actually landed in the moon first, or do you think that China or Russia got there first, and we just told everybody that we got there first? Because I know we landed on the moon, but were we the first ones?
I think technically yes, but I remember people were saying like could have been Russia. So I honestly have no idea.
I think it was Russia to first orbit the moon, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. But to first land on it, allegedly,
Was the U.S.
was the U.S.
Well, I
You
still
think-
feel bad for Buzz Aldrin because, like, I guess like he was supposed to take the first step, and then whatever the fuck the other guy's name is, Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Neil. I always get the Armstrongs because there's Louis Armstrong, Neil Armstrong, and then the bike one. Is that
Lance Armstrong.
Lance?
Armstrong.
Lance. Yes.
Yeah, I always get that guy confused with the other guy.
Well, because Lance sounds so much more like a moon landing
Space guy.
name. Like
Right.
Neil, that's a guy who rides a bike. What are you talking about? That
Right.
is not like Buzz. That's a space name. Neil, like what the fuck? I don't get it.
Weird fact about Neil Armstrong. Neil A for Armstrong. What does Neil A
Alien.
spelled backwards? It's alien.
It's alien.
Isn't that weird?
And Lance Armstrong is missing a testicle.
What do you think makes him so aerodynamic?
There you go. He doesn't have all that cum to store. He's just going. He's just racing.
God, can you imagine the productivity men would have if they didn't have to worry about draining that all the time?
Jesus.
That would be, yeah, the world would be so different.
We would have solved world
We
hunger
would
3 times
have.
by now.
We would have had flying cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I mean, women can do it too, but
Well, sure. Of course, yeah.
just kidding.
But I think the moon landing was a cool conspiracy. Whether you believe it or not, there are also other conspiracies that when they landed on the moon, that Neil Armstrong was looking at aliens because they were saying that the audio cut out, and he's like, they're all looking at me. And they like recovered what he was saying, and it was like, oh my God, they're all looking at me right now. What should I do? And they're like, just act normal, like just do your thing.
I think aliens are real.
I mean,
Oh,
they're on
yeah,
the dark
that-
side
yeah,
of the
for
moon.
sure,
You
yeah.
know?
Well, because, like, they've been seeing, like, more UFOs lately in the sky. And I'm like, well, maybe we're just now interesting enough for them to come talk to us. I don't know.
Well, the government recently admitted that UFOs are actually a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Do you remember, this is such a niche thing, but do you remember, like, before COVID, when a bunch of people were going to storm Area 51? as a
Dude,
joke?
yes.
That was so funny. And I feel like not enough people talk about that because it was such a big thing. And then I brought that up to my friend recently. He was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, what do you mean? What am I talking about? This was so pivotal.
Yeah.
It was so important.
There was like people like camping out and shit. There was like people like fucking selling merch and shit. So there's this other like conspiracy that I like to believe that all these conspiracies are made by a person just to sell merchandise. So like the January 6th thing, there was this one guy, fucking, I forgot what the fuck his name is, that goes around cross country and interviews like these like little conspiracy people or whatever. Like he went to go interview the January 6th people, and he said, and there was a documentary about him, where he was all like, all these people that I interviewed about like, you know, the left, right MAGA people and like the fucking January 6th or whatever, all of them are just to sell merch. They're all like, yeah, at the end of the day, like all these people are really vocal about it. They have merchandise they need to sell. And I'm just like, whoa. So like the Area 51 thing, there was a lot of people like selling merchandise, and there was like a lot of people like, they couldn't even storm Area 51 because the guards were like, you know, fucking ready to shoot everyone and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you think they're controlling the narrative, or do you think they're just profiting?
I
off
think
of
they're just
narrative?
so somebody was all like, yeah, let's storm Area 51, and somebody was all like, boom, yes, please store Area 51. I'm gonna go set up next to you, and you guys are all gonna buy Storm Area 51 shirts.
Yeah.
Or like the January 6th thing, somebody was all like, oh, January 6th happened. Here's a January 6th revolution shirt or whatever the fuck.
Can you imagine what the reenactment of the January 6th is going to be like in a couple decades?
Oh my
Can
God.
imagine
You
that?
know there's going to be so many just like white like dads just so amped.
Right.
They're going to have like Nerf rifles. Like it's going to be so
And their buffalo hats.
I didn't even consider that as a possibility, and I'm so sad that it is. I mean, I think that's more fun than January 6th. It's just recreating. I think if we can storm January 6th, we can also storm Area 51. I think that should be the rule. That's how they give the liberals something, is they give us Area 51 to storm. I think it's only fair.
Power to the people, you know? Have you ever seen the movie The Bug's Life?
Yes.
You know, like it's just a couple grasshoppers with thousands and thousands of millions of ants, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think people realize the power of uniting together and overcoming something like that.
Oh, for sure, dude.
You know, I mean, if you had 20,000 people go to surround Area 51, I'm not saying we should, government.
I mean, bullets shoot at how fast versus the amount of people that we have. We'll lose a couple of us for sure, but we'll be able to storm them.
But like the prospects they were sending weren't the best. You know, like I saw
Yeah.
some dude doing that like
The Naruto
anime
run, yeah.
That
Well,
was
it's also-
everyone.
It was popular when I was in high school. So it was a bunch of like high schoolers and college kids going. And I'm like, we're not going to do anything. Like, I think that
Right.
most we could do is go up to them and say, please, can we go inside?
That's
And
literally
it.
what happened.
Right.
Yeah, they just said please, and then they said no,
nope,
and then everyone was
they
like,
were
all right,
yep,
whatever.
Let's go buy merch now.
Yeah.
We'll go home. Yeah, all I got was this fucking T-shirt.
Have you guys seen Squid Games?
Oh, yeah,
Do you guys hear that it's actually based on a true thing?
it is. That would make sense.
So there was this, I think in Hong Kong or China. Is Hong Kong in China? Oh,
Yes.
either China. I don't know.
Don't
I don't
quote
know
me
my.
on that.
I don't know my maps, but some Asian like brother millionaires. They bought an orphanage with all the kids still in it and stuff, and they made it so that the kids couldn't leave and shit. You know, they're an orphanage, so nobody's gonna be looking for the kids, and then they set up the whole orphanage and they made the kids play these games, and you know, whoever lost. You didn't want to lose, obviously, for obvious reasons, and so the guy that made Squid Games, the TV show, he's like denying all these claims that like, no, it's not based off anything true. But one of the survivors from there was a little kid when they were doing that in like China or whatever. He saw Squid Games and he like was like, this is too close to like what I went through, and so he started speaking out. And you know, Netflix or whoever, they're like, no, it's not true, But there's like people that are like, I was there, bro. Like I saw when that shit happened. Like they have pictures of like what the guards look like and like the actual thing, and then they have pictures of like the actual guards with like the pink suits. They look really like alike, and
Oh,
so
shit.
yeah, there's pictures of that.
I feel like the rich are getting up to too much. Like the amount of things like with like Epstein's Island, like Diddy's parties. It's like, yeah, if they had a Hunger Games in their backyard, like I would not be surprised.
So they do. There's this thing on the black market, and I've seen it, where you go and if you go deep enough into the black market, obviously you have to know how to. But
like the dark web. Do you mean?
yeah,
Or,
dark web. Yeah, not whatever. Yeah, it's not the
Tomato,
same
tomato.
thing. It's not
Yeah.
the same thing. Whatever. But you go deep inside the dark web, and there's these people that kidnap, you know, people from like homeless people or like people that like have nobody looking for them or whatever, and they abduct them into these like islands or like big factory type things or like or any private land they can acquire, and they make them fight for their life, essentially like a Hunger Games type of thing, and it's freaking wild. So then they give everybody like a GoPro or something like that, and if you know how to get into the dark web, you can look at that shit because they broadcast it live, and I guess rich people go on there and they'll bet on their players and stuff, like
Yeah.
millions of dollars. And
I think
then-
there's like another one called like the Red Room online or something, and like the dark web or something, where like people will like put bounties on like certain people, and then they'll like live stream the killings too. Like it's so weird.
It's nuts the shit you can get away with if you know how to.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, that was when Bitcoin just became a thing and nobody knew it was gonna blow up. But that's the way you were able to buy things off the dark web. And so me and my friends, we were able to get into it because my buddy's a freaking computer nerd. Now he does like cyber tech and shit. But we went on there. We bought $20 worth of Bitcoin, which was nothing back in the day, and we bought a tab of acid just to see if it will show up or not. Worst case scenario, we lost $20. And so the next day, we sent it to one of my buddy's address. A couple of days later, we get an envelope with like a little birthday card on it, and like behind it was like a little like piece of tape, and says, you know, acid tabs are like fucking small. And we saw it. It was a freaking acid tab. We didn't know if it worked or not. We didn't take it, but
That's smart.
Pussy.
it could have easily had acid and nobody, you know.
Huh?
Yeah, that is so scary. I feel like there was definitely a period of time where I was like, do I go on? And I was like, I don't want to do this.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go too deep in it because there was like things that we were like, I don't think I want to see like decapitated heads, bro. Like I'm cool on that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's some weird shit on the internet. You know, going back to what y'all were talking about of like stories that happened in real life and then, you know, turned into a Netflix series or whatever. They were saying the same thing about Stranger Things. In that Stranger Things, there was an actual island in New York or off of New York, the state, where they were doing these kinds of experiments on kids and, you know, people were getting cut loose and stuff like that. And I think there's some truth behind it where, and this kind of goes into the whole like Simpsons did it, Simpsons predicted the future kind of thing. There's this theory, again, I'm not claiming it's true, I'm just saying it's a theory, that higher ups, people in the media will depict things like that in TV shows and movies as a way to tell people, hey, this is happening, without directly saying this is happening. Because it's one of those things, it's a more of a morality thing, not a morality thing, more of a karma thing, where they're like, we have good karma because technically we told you about this. Technically we warned you about 9/11 or this or that. We didn't tell you exactly, but if you watch episode 6 of, you know, season 7 of The Simpsons,
Simpsons did it.
Clear as day. It's right there. Again, not saying it's true, but there's a grain of truth behind all that.
It is interesting. I love like a good, because I love horror stuff or like scary stuff. I love a good horror that's like kind of grounded in reality, like that kind of thing where it's like, this could hypothetically happen, or maybe this is happening. I just think it makes it more scary and fun.
Because it makes it more scary, I don't like those. I'm just like, no, I don't want to watch this. This could actually happen to me. There is a movie called Hereditary or whatever.
God, yeah.
The scene where like the girl's like putting her head out the window and they're going at like 200 miles an hour and her fucking head gets clean off with like a fucking pole or whatever.
Sheesh.
I was like, dude, that could happen to me. I don't want to watch this anymore.
Dude, I think about that too, because so during COVID, my family was like, let's do family movie night, and I didn't want to. I just wanted to like go like be in my room and like watch like weird YouTube videos or something. And my mom was like, okay, you get to pick the movie then. And I, as a like to be like a little like, I don't want to be here, but I'll watch a movie I want to watch, I picked Hereditary.
Oh yeah.
And my little brother has a severe egg allergy, and so I was like, I'm telling you, this scene's gonna fuck you up. And then she was like, I hate you. Why did you do this?
Yeah.
But I love that movie.
Because the reason she sticks her head out the window is because she's trying to gasp for air because she had eaten a peanut and she had a peanut allergy. And so the big brother was trying to take her to the hospital as fast as possible. And so she couldn't breathe anymore. And she thought, oh, well, I'll just stick my head out the window to get some air. And they were going at like 100 miles an hour. Dude doesn't see the pole coming, clean off.
Yeah.
And then he gets back to his parents' house and he just leaves the dead girl there and he goes into his room and just fucking freaks out. Like, he has a whole mental breakdown and shit.
I love that movie. Oh my god, I love horror movies. What's your guys' favorite horror movie?
Shit.
How much time do you have?
Fuck. I saw one the other night that I forgot what it was called. I was really stoned.
What was it about? Do you remember?
Well, one of my other favorite movie series is probably like The Terrifier.
I haven't seen those.
Those are good.
They're pretty good.
They're funny. It's
Okay.
a comic. If you're into like gruesome comedy.
Is that the Art the Clown guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I keep seeing him on the internet because people think he's hot. I don't know why, but I need to watch that because it looks scary.
Tall, dark, and handsome, man?
There you go.
When I was younger, I used to watch a lot of like Asian horror films. Those were pretty gruesome, mostly for like I didn't understand much what was going on, but I just saw a bunch of like blood and shit.
Yeah.
I like have you seen The Host?
I don't think so.
It's a Bong Joon-ho movie. He's the same guy that did Parasite. And that one's like a really good like monster movie from like the early, I think it was early 2000s, maybe like 2010s, but that's a good one. I went through a phase where I was like trying to get more into Korean horror, and it was a good one.
Do you guys remember Human Centipede?
I never watched it.
Oh, dude.
I don't think I could. I simply don't. I've seen the South Park episode, and that made me feel ill. So I'm like, I don't think this movie is going to be for me.
It's not, yeah. Probably not.
I like a good creature feature. You know, like anything with like a main character like Freddy Krueger, Jason. I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's one of my favorites. One time I did mushrooms and I watched the original King Kong movie.
Oh.
And must say, you should totally try it sometime. It was really cool. I like a lot of the old stuff too, because just to see how advanced it was for back in the day when they were shooting black and white film, and to have, you know, this huge tracking shot with hundreds of extras and, you know, stuff like that kind of gets to me. So anything Svengoolie puts on too, I'd say. You know a movie I did watch recently though that I was like kind of like meh about? The new Nosferatu movie.
Okay, I wanted to, because I need to watch that.
I haven't
You were
seen it
meh
yet.
about it?
I liked it. So again, I'm a horror buff. I like old school stuff, and I'm a big fan of watching the original movie before the remake, so you kind of can compare and contrast a little bit. And yeah, I watched the 1922 Nosferatu, and I loved it. It was super creepy. You know, it's in black and white. It's a silent film. You got to read it. It's a cool storyline. It's essentially along the lines of Dracula, which was an issue back then. But I liked the creature feature aspect of it. Like the Nosferatu character was super creepy, and he had these big blocky shoulders. But the weird part about the new one that I did not like is, again, I love movie makeup. I love, you know, prosthetics. I've always wanted to be a kaiju monster. But when I saw the Nosferatu movie, I was excited because they had Bill Skarsgård in it, the guy who played the It Clown. And I was excited to see the makeup and the fingers and all that. But they gave him this gigantic, goofy mustache.
Oh.
And I just couldn't take him seriously the whole time, you know? And I looked into it, you know, 5 minutes into the movie, I'm like, what the fuck is with that mustache? Like, that's so weird. But then the director was like, well, he was a Turkish nobleman, so we had to make him look more Turkish. So they gave him this big, goofy walrus mustache.
Wait, now I need to look this up because I have not seen this picture and I need to see it. I'm so curious.
It's weird. He looks like Jim Carrey in the Sonic movies.
Oh, no.
So like I couldn't really take it seriously, you know.
I
haven't seen it yet.
It was
wanna
good.
watch it.
I would suggest it. Lily Rose Depp was really cool in it too, because you know, seeing Johnny Depp getting sucked into the bed during the Freddy Krueger movie, and then seeing his daughter being like lured in a bed with Nosferatu,
wait, is
it
this
was so
him?
cool. No, that's Willem Dafoe, who must say Willem Dafoe in Nosferatu was so great because seeing that guy in like German expressionism with like the big shadows behind him and all that, like he's just so cut out for it. Like when I watched Poor Thing, was it?
Oh
Poor
my God,
Thing?
I love Poor Things.
That was such a great film.
So good.
Like any horror junkie, that was like German expressionism. It was good. It hit all the tropes.
I love like a good Yorgos Lanthimos film. I've been trying to like make my way through his filmography, and I still need to watch Kinds of Kindness because that just came out. But Poor Things is so good. I remember watching it in my school's library, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the best. It's so good.
What's Poor Things?
It's a movie by Yorgos Lanthimos, and like, have you seen a Yorgos Lanthimos film? He's
Probably
like,
not.
he does.
Maybe.
He did The Favorite. He did The Lobster. He did Killing of a Sacred Deer. Kinds of Kindness, which just came out, and then Poor Things. But his style is very like avant-garde and like a little strange. And it's Mark Ruffalo's in it, and it's
He was great.
He's so funny. He's so good because he just looks like a guy named Duncan.
Right.
Like when they named him Duncan, I'm like, yeah, that is his name, like 1,000%.
Oh yeah.
But it's about this girl who like, Willem Dafoe's a scientist. This girl dies, and he takes her brain and puts it in a new body, and she like starts off mentally as a baby, and she's starting to like kind of find herself in like becoming an adult or like maturing, she gets into like a bunch of romantic endeavors. It's very overly sexual, but it's like kind of just like a metaphor of like going through womanhood like from a fresh eyes and being sexualized. It's a very good movie. It's quite long, but it's so good.
What's it called? Poor Things?
Poor Things. Yeah.
The best way I would describe it is a sexually liberated female Frankenstein creature.
That's exactly it. It's so good.
It was really well done.
It sucks. It sucks though, because I was watching people and they had the most atrocious takes on it. Because like a lot of people got it, and then I saw a TikTok that was like, they're making fun of disabled people. I'm like, no, they're not. Right. You're missing the point. Like, I'm so sorry, but you've missed the point entirely.
That's funny.
It's one of those movies where at the end, I think it's one of those movies where you watch it and then you have a slice of pie with a friend after, and you're like, what did you take from that? What was your, because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my God, they just sexified the hell out of this. My girlfriend was like, no, she was sexually liberated. It's a woman's movement piece. And I was like, oh.
It's so good.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. It's good.
Also, I could not find a picture of Nosferatu with the mustache, and I'm really sad. I guess this means I have to see the movie now.
There you go.
Sure. Can we pull it up on here? Yeah. It was weird. It was really strange. But again, like I like seeing the creature features, and I think that's what pulled it away from. It made it more realistic, But it's a Nosferatu. It's a vampire.
It is funny because like I feel like a lot of people my age just know Nosferatu from the SpongeBob episode,
right?
And I was like, oh, they're making a movie about it. I was like, oh wait, no, this was a movie, and now they're making a new one.
Do you see it anywhere?
Yeah, because when I googled like picture of him, it just came up as Willem Dafoe.
You type in Nosferatu mustache.
Because that is such a choice. I do really want to see it. I want to see Lily Rose Depp.
There's Jim Carrey with the big mustache.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I guess they're not really posting it. It's pretty. Oh, there it is.
Where?
Go up. Yeah. Up. It's that one.
Which one? Why? He does look like him in Sonic. That's right? So. Why did they do that?
It's again, they want to make him look like a Turkish nobleman.
But also, if he's a vampire, he can't grow facial hair. Like, he's bald.
How do you know? Have you ever met a vampire?
Well, I mean, I would assume if they like drink blood, they don't have the strength to grow. Oh, because he's bald. Why didn't they just give him hair too? Like, it's so weird.
Right.
Or maybe he puts on a fake mustache every morning to feel better about himself.
Maybe.
That could be it.
Maybe I'm a vampire. I'm having a hard time growing a beard.
Whoa.
Maybe. Could be the case.
That'd be cool.
I want to see Lily Rose Depp because did you ever watch The Idol when it came out? The show that The Weeknd made?
No.
Oh my God. It was the worst show I've ever seen, but it's so... I would hate watch it on the train. So The Weeknd made this show with Lily Rose Depp, and it's basically like she's a pop star, and then he they fall in love, but like he's really manipulative, and then in the end she was manipulating him the whole time, and it's like they have like a sex scene in like a dressing room of a store. It's just the most ridiculous show, and like all the actors in it were great. Troye Sivan was in it, but it's like the acting was great, the writing was just like horrendous. So I was like, I know Lily Rose Depp is talented, this is just not the piece, this is not the thing. So I'm excited to see her in this.
She shines in Nosferatu. She's really great in it. It was a terrific movie. You had mentioned earlier that it was your senior year during COVID. What was that like?
It was very weird. I think I was actually talking about this the other day to my boyfriend, because he's 27, I'm 23, so like a lot of my friends are older than me, so they had very different COVID experiences. But it happened right before my graduation senior year, like in March. We had like online graduation.
That sucks.
Honestly, I kind of liked it because I graduated from college in person, and I was like, I don't need to be here. Like, this is so pointless. And then when we graduated online, it was like our group chat was just like blowing up shit talking people. Like, it was kind of fun. But I think it gave me a really good like perspective, because before COVID, I was very much a different person. I was like obviously younger, but I like was very anxious. I didn't want to do certain things because I was just like, I'm so nervous. Like, everything scares me. And I remember COVID happened, and I was like, after being cooped up for so long, I was like, I'm never going to be like scared to do things again. Like, I'm just going to do them. And I think that's part of the reason why I started stand up, was because I was like, I can't just like be afraid to do things. Like, I've been inside for like 3 fucking months. Like, I'm just going to do shit. And then I think it just gave me a very good perspective shift, because it was at such a formative time in my life. So I'm kind of glad it happened when it did for me personally.
It almost seems like it was a blessing in disguise, especially for you. A lot of people will say that anytime there's a global pandemic or a plague or whatever, that some of the greatest art comes immediately following that, from people being suppressed and people being held back, and you're a product of it. So I guess what I have so many questions. So what was that like? Like, I mean, you had to do classes online, or?
Yeah, I did classes online, played a lot of Animal Crossing, as everyone did. And then for me, the weirdest part was college during COVID, because so my school was way weirder about COVID. And at first they were stricter, which I like kind of got, because it's like, okay, all these kids are coming in from like different parts of the country. And then after my freshman year, it just kind of felt performative, because I remember they were like, well, you get tested once you get here. If you get COVID, you're locked in your room and they will deliver food to you. But they kept giving me, like, I told them I was like, I'm allergic to gluten. They kept giving me food with gluten. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm not eating. And then they like made everyone mask inside, but then they were like, you have to pay $200 for a COVID test.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then the hospital was awful about it too, because we were right next to a hospital and they like didn't know what they were doing. And so it was just, that part I think was the shittiest part, because we had to wear masks indoors until halfway through my junior year, which was the end of 2022. So it was like, they were acting like we were in COVID, even though the rest of the world wasn't as strict about it. And like, they were also very unsupportive to like people who like had who were like had like autoimmune issues. Like, they weren't helpful in that regard. Like, I knew a lot of people who like were immunocompromised who were like, the school was just neglecting them. They weren't getting food when they had COVID. They weren't being provided masks. Like, they were it was just like they weren't being provided tests. Like, it was just a whole thing. I think that was very much like that was the weirdest part for me. It was just like I don't know. Going to college made me be like, I hate institutions, like that kind of thing. But that specifically, I think after COVID was just the weirdest part. Like, I went through the helpful portion, and then I'm like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, this is crazy.
Right. How are you going to charge a college kid $200 for a test?
Dude, that's insane.
I don't know. Like, when I heard that, I was just like, that's insane. Like, you could go to the pharmacy like a few blocks away and get them for free. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, why are we doing this?
Oh my god.
It's very weird.
Weird times. But yeah, hard times make strong people. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Fuck COVID. I think we're about to have another spike of it.
I hope not. Well, I was getting worried about the monkeypox thing, but I think, and now everyone's getting norovirus, which is scary.
People are getting pneumonia, something like that.
Yeah.
People are getting that a lot now.
Both my friends' parents have like walking pneumonia right now, and it sucks. I got it when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, this is miserable.
What's walking pneumonia? I gotta ask.
I don't quite know what the exact difference is, but when I had walking pneumonia, I like was still doing speech competitions, and I didn't know until I finally went to the doctor, and they were like, you have walking pneumonia, bitch, like go to bed.
That sucks.
I think it's just like more mild, like you can, like, you're not like dying, but it's like your lungs hurt and you're sneezing a lot and you're coughing a lot and you're sweating a lot, and that's pretty much it. It's just like a normal fever, I would say.
Do you guys think COVID was planned by the world governments, or was it like an accident?
I think it was an accident. I hope it wasn't planned, because if that was planned, that would be scary.
Every like couple hundred years happens where like a mass whatever.
It's every 100 years.
100 years before,
to
I think, or something like
control the population.
Yeah. Or 1910, yeah.
But like some people are saying that it's like a government, like world governments get together and they're all like, there's too many people, they might overtake us, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of all the old people and the sick people. Yeah. We'll keep all the young ones to fucking work for us still.
And we'll profit off of it.
And we'll profit off of it, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to hope that it's not I hope it's not a kind of eugenics, because if that is the case, it's basically just like eugenics. Like, it's like get rid of old people and immunocompromised, and it's like, oh, fuck, well, we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what to believe. Some people say it did come from a lab in Wuhan, China.
Well, they like China admitted it. They're like, yeah, we like, it was our whoops.
Yeah. I think it was a matter of like, was it released intentionally, or like, did it genuinely just like get out by accident?
Right.
Because there's been other cases where like you got like laboratory whatever rats or monkeys or whatever that accidentally escape, and it's a legitimate accident. But they're able to contain it pretty fast because they know that'll fuck everyone up.
Right. But you never know. Homer Simpson sneezes on a donut and eats it, and then like it goes home to all over Springfield after that. You never know. There is a weird conspiracy too that biolabs in Ukraine, like U.S. biolabs that were in that area, have now moved out of that area because they're afraid that like if that got bombed or if that got raided or whatever, they can release stuff like that into that area. Biowarfare is a real thing, A lot of people even claim that I'm not saying it is true or not. People are saying that AIDS was planned.
I have heard that too. I feel like regardless of whether or not AIDS was planned, the way that the Reagan administration handled it was very like, you clearly are trying to get rid of gay people, like it's very, very obvious, especially because they started using the technology they did to create the COVID vaccine immediately after. They were like, oh, maybe now we should fix AIDS. And then it's like, well, it's a little late, but all right, we'll try now.
Right. Hard to put out that fire.
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh. Excuse me.
You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, man. Well, we got a little bit of time here, too. So, Hannah, you've been in the game for quite some time. Where do you see yourself 10 years down the line?
I'm hoping by then I would like to be in New York, probably sooner than then. I kind of just want to, I don't know. I feel like something that I like about being in like comedy is it's like, again, the linear thing where it's like, I didn't know what I was doing 3.5 years ago. I kind of know what I'm doing, but I don't like have a clear set thing in my future. Like I've been doing a lot of short-term goals. Like for each notebook I do, I have a few goals in the back where I'm like, I'd like to do this by the time I finish this notebook. So I don't know. I think ideally just keep doing comedy, whether hopefully it's at like a headliner point at that point. That would be great. I don't know if I'll be writing for some show or something. Like, I don't know. I think it's just like, there's so many different paths I could take and any of them seem fun. So I'm just like, whatever happens, as long as I'm still like happy and doing comedy, then I feel like I'll be doing good.
Right now, you said you were hoping to be in New York at some point. My next question is, do you think that, so a lot of people talk about like New York and like Austin, for example, like Texas, for example, as like the big industry places to go to do comedy, maybe California, I don't know, maybe not anymore, but nobody really talks about going to Chicago to like do like make it in comedy. People just think, a lot of people just start off, in Chicago and then they go to like New York or Austin or whatever. What do you think it'll take to make Chicago that point where like people want to go to make it in Chicago?
I think it could become that point again. I think I feel like when Second City was really at its prime, Chicago was kind of seen as that. I think hopefully just like people keep loving like Laugh Factory and Zanies, giving love to those clubs, maybe opening new clubs, making those thrive. I feel like when I see a show or a club that does well, it's like you can tell the people who run it really care about what they're doing. And I think just getting more people in Chicago who are like, I love Chicago, I love comedy, I'm going to make sure that this scene thrives and becomes somewhere that people want to make their final destination. I also think probably getting more like eyes on Chicago, like the way Kill Tony has gotten eyes on Austin, the way like the Comedy Cellar and all those places in New York have gotten those big names. I think like continuing to have that kind of thing in Chicago would probably make it like that kind of way, because I feel like a lot of people see Chicago, there is a ceiling, and then the ceiling in New York is much higher. It's the Comedy Cellar or like touring nationally. So I think if we can keep bumping that ceiling up and keep creating like more spaces and more shows that are really, really like thought highly of, I think that could definitely make Chicago more like a destination. Because I know from traveling to smaller scenes, a lot of people in like Cleveland or Indiana or like Michigan, they do see Chicago as kind of that bigger place. So maybe make like just keeping flourishing in the scene, I guess.
True. What do you think differentiates a comedian that makes it against a comedian that keeps that just stays at like a local level? I
think something that I found coming back and forth from like Cleveland to here is a lot of people kind of like just like being like in the same city all the time. They don't feel the need to like travel, or they don't feel the need to like make connections other places. And I feel like a lot of comics that stay purely locally don't, or like if they don't want to stay local, because there are some people who love being like curating their own scene, but I think the people who want to make it in a different scene and don't quite make that leap is it's just like they don't feel pressured to make those connections, or they don't understand how to. And I think just like expanding your worldview in regards to like where you want to like set up camp and then like travel from there. I feel like that's always like making connections in other cities and just like figuring out what works best for you.
Is there a comedian that you dream to open for one day?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think, okay, opening for John Mulaney would be cool. I don't think that would ever happen.
Not with that attitude.
Fair. Hey, you know, I do love like Sam Morril. He's one of my favorites. I feel like he has like a really good sense of humor. Sorry. I feel like he would be fun, and because like we're both Jews, so I think it'd be cool. I'd love to open for him. I also really like Rosebud Baker. I think she would be fun because I always am like, I want to open for comics, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'd be a good fit. I feel like with her, I'm like, I feel like our styles are similar enough. She's really funny. I'd love to open for her too.
Fair.
And how would you define your style?
I would say I love like a good punchy joke. Like I'm not the kind of person to like have like a very long setup and then like one punchline. Like I like doing like series of shorter jokes. Like when I was a kid, I loved puns. Like I would write out puns just like in choir class when I was bored. And so I like that kind of joke where it's like very clear structure, like A plus B equals C, like set up punchline or set up punchline, set up punchline. I love those kinds of jokes. And I do like I like a longer story with a lot of punches in the middle. Those are kind of my favorites. And then I guess like content wise, I just talk a lot about like my life. Like I'm not usually commenting on like, I'll sometimes comment on like events that have happened or like current news, but mostly it's just like, here's something that I did. Here's another thing that happened. This was what I did at work. Like it's very like day in the life kind of style.
And when do you let a bit go to rest? Do you keep the best, or is there a certain time, like if you film it, then you hang it up on a shelf and then make more, or what's your process?
Yeah, I think when I'm trying new bits, I usually do a good like 3 strikes you're out rule, where it's like if I try it 3 times, I'm not finding anything else, I won't necessarily like kill it, but I'll say like, okay, I'm gonna let this rest in my brain, and maybe I'll think of something better down the line if I want to revisit this. Or if there's just like nowhere in my set where it makes sense, I'll be like, okay, I'll remember I have this joke. If I write another thing later that is on the same topic line as this, then I'll probably find a way to reincorporate it. As for jokes like in my like show sets, I feel like a lot of times there's some jokes that I'm just like, I don't care about this joke as much anymore. Like I don't like this joke. I feel like my voice has evolved. Like, I feel like I've gotten a lot of, I feel like whenever someone starts comedy, they do a lot of sex jokes. That just happens. And I had a lot of sex jokes, and I feel like slowly I've been, like, killing those off. Like, it's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. This is not my style. This is not my favorite. So it kind of just depends on, like, the mood I'm in. And then sometimes I'll bring those bits back if it's, like, a specific crowd is there, and I'm like, okay, they're going to want to hear more of this that I haven't done in a while, but I'll bring it back. That kind of thing.
Like during your set, do you just kind of like start off with like a certain joke and then you like feel out the crowd, and then according to what, then that's how your set goes kind of?
Yeah, I have one joke that I always use as a feeler. So I start off my set with a joke about how I'm bisexual and Jewish. And it's a very quick, like punchy joke. It gets like the crowd hyped. And then the crowd will have one of usually 3 reactions. They'll either love it, they'll either hate it, or like the men will get way too excited. And so that usually is like, okay, like I know exactly how this is gonna go from here on out, and then I know like which kind of direction to go in.
What's your perfect kind of crowd?
Ooh, I did a show recently. I used to think it was one thing, and I think it's another thing now. I did this show recently where I was featuring at a wine bar in Wisconsin, and it was all wine moms. And they loved it. So I have a weird appeal to wine moms, I think. Like, because they're like, whenever they go out, it's like, it's a girls' night out. Let's get bad. Let's listen to some dirty jokes. And then, like, I'm like a good cup of tea because I remind them of, like, their niece or something. Like, that kind of thing.
That's funny. That,
and, like, I do think I get along with, like, a good, like, late 20s, early 30s crowd. Like, that's usually because I feel like I don't, sometimes some crowds that are my age like me, but I feel like a lot of crowds my age are very much like they like more alt comedy. So I'm like, it's like, if you want to watch alt comedy, like that's fine. I'm not that, but yeah, I like love a good wine mom, love a good like late 20s, early 30s crowd.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, we're getting to just about that time. How much more time you got?
Probably like 7 minutes.
7 minutes. All right. Well, Is there any message that you want to send out to the world? Anything that we haven't talked about? Anything you want the people to know?
Ooh. Well, first, follow me on Instagram. That's probably it. Hannah Belmont, but there's a period between the B and the E. I guess, I don't know. What message should I send? Is there like...
What will you tell your younger self?
Oh, like how old are we talking?
I don't know, high school self?
High school self? Okay.
Piece of advice that you would give your high school self?
I'd say you're going to be fine. Nothing is as serious as you think it is. And just have fun. Like, I don't know. I was so, like, uptight when I was in high school. Like, I was so anxious about everything. And it's, like, I feel like it's just, like, have fun with it. Like, no one's going to judge you for fucking up when you're in high school. People are probably not going to judge you that much for fucking up in your 20s. Even, unless you, like, kill someone, I guess.
Right.
But, like, for the most part, like, I don't know. Everything's a learning experience, too. I think that's a good mindset to have. As at any age, but I feel like that's been something that I've been taking with me as a young adult, because I'm living on my own for the first time. Like, I just graduated college. Like, I'm doing something, like, none of my family was really in, like, not a lot of my family's in, like, the performing arts. Like, both my parents are business people. My brother's a neuroscientist. So it's like creating your own path is so difficult, but it makes it easier if you're like, everything is a learning experience. Nothing is that big of a deal.
Yeah. Perfect.
Now, that was your message to your younger self. 10 years down the line, do you have a message that you would tell yourself from 10 years? 10 years you're going to watch this video. What would you tell yourself?
Okay, when I'm 33, let me think. Well, I would say, I don't know. I'm trying to think what I would say to my friends who are older than me. I guess also the same thing. Like, you're okay. You're still in your 30s. Charlie XCX is in her 30s, and she's having so much fun.
True.
So, like, you can just have fun. I hope you're still doing what you love, that kind of thing. And again, just have fun. But I hope you have more money while you're having fun. I think that would be it. Yeah.
True.
It's a good goal. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Well, we can wrap it up here. I know you got do you have an open mic tonight?
Yeah, I'm hosting. My two other co-hosts are out of town, so I'm hosting my open mic tonight, which will be fun.
Cool. Where at?
It's at Gracie O'Malley's in Laker Park, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
I know that place.
Yeah, it's a cute bar. Apparently, Annie Murphy went there once, and I was really mad because I wasn't there. So.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
It's wild.
Well, very fun. Hannah, thank you so much again for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck. You got a good head on your shoulders, and you're hustling, girl. You're really hustling.
Thank you.
You know, keep at it. Keep being persistent. I mean, I have one last question for you. How many open mics do you think you'd hit in a week on average?
Ooh, I'd like to say probably 7 or 8. I usually try and aim for.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
Well, keep at it, girl. You know, you're really crushing it right now. And, you know, like I said, it's to come from a pandemic and then flourish outside of it. It's such a beautiful thing. And it gives people a lot of hope. And it gives a lot of young girls hope, too, to go and watch you perform and watch you make these jokes that might have gotten them in trouble in school. And it's a freeing thing to let them know that it's okay to laugh and it's okay to enjoy yourself. So, again, Hannah, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Good. Yeah. Thanks again.
Yeah.
So guys, check out Hannah Belmont. We're going to have all of her information down in the description below. Follow her on social media. She's all over social media, Facebook, all that good stuff. You're on TikTok too, right?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I don't post as much there, but definitely more on Instagram.
Okay. Well, follow her on Instagram. She's got a lot of videos up on YouTube as well if you want to check out some of her material. She's incredibly funny. If you're a producer, please hire her. Hire her. She's awesome. She's so awesome. And you're such a delight to talk to. Thank you again, Hannah, so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was awesome.
I hope your Lyft ride back isn't as awkward.
No, thank you. I'm praying the same thing. Dude, if Anus comes back, I swear to
that
God.
would suck.
I swear to God.
The return of Anus.
No.
You will not get dropped off this time. Just kidding. Joking.
Anuses, the sequel.
Whoa. Next movie.
That's the horror
Based
movie.
on
That's a
real
creature
life.
feature, all right.
Yeah. Yeesh. Well, we're going to leave you guys on a high note with Anus there. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight here on Hawkwind's Radio Picture Show, the first show of the new year of 2025. We got a lot in store for you. We got a lot of artists coming up every single Wednesday right here at Cube 4 Radio in the beautiful Ukrainian Village neighborhood of Chicago. Ooh. So thank you guys for joining us. You know, Jay, we always send it out with, well, last year we did. We can always change it. we always send people out with a message or a challenge to do. Do you got a challenge for folks in the new year?
Fucking do your New Year's resolution and don't quit.
Yeah.
Apparently, the second Friday of every beginning of the year, that's when people quit their New Year's resolution.
Yeah, it's when the gym starts opening up again.
Yeah.
New year, new everybody. I'm going to piggyback off that. Yeah, write down intentions, write down goals that you want to accomplish, and post it somewhere. Don't have it just like tucked away somewhere underneath your pillow. Put that shit up on your mirror so you look at it every single day. Maybe even look into writing up a vision board, coming up with some idea. I'm telling you, that stuff really works wild. A fun story about the vision board too. I don't know. We got a little time. It's powerful though. The vision board is powerful. If you do it and you set your right intentions, things will come true on it. It's really wild. I think it was like 10 years ago, I found this newspaper clipping and it said, Lydia asked Jack her perfect idea of the perfect mate. And it was a couple on a couch. And then the girl's idea was like a businessman holding a baby in a briefcase. And then Jack's vision of the perfect woman was like Xena Princess Warrior, Superwoman, Catwoman. And it's just really funny because that shit came true for me, you know? I'm dating all those characters right now. So
whoa, does your girlfriend know about this?
Well, she is all those split personalities.
It's funny.
So be intentional about it. Put it out into the universe, what you want to accomplish, and you never know. Your dreams are right around the corner.
I want a big yacht and $1 million.
Dog, put it on the dream board. It'll happen.
But
it'll happen. All right, guys. Well, we're going to send it on out here from Q4 Radio. My name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
You guys have a great night. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us.
You